Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to Southeast Iowa Union Prep Sports Plus, presented by the Southeast Iowa Union and powered by Fairway Food Stores. Get over to I saw Hunter. Hunter, were you mouthing Fairway Food Stores?
Yes, I was.
We got Hunter. We got our man Hunter as always. We got our man Peter as always, and we got our man Andy as always. Hunter, how you feeling today?
Feeling great.
Feeling great. How'd fantasy football go?
Hey, 2 wins. Can't complain.
Same, 2-1. What did Peter go? Do we know?
Or actually, 3-0.
You went 3-0? There you go. We don't know what Peter went. I don't know if the people can hear him, but I'm curious about that too. No. Anyway, we'll figure that out later. Well, that's for later. We're going to talk a little football. We're going to talk a little volleyball. We're going to talk a little cross country. We're going to talk a little plus. Maybe we'll get some plus. Let's bring the plus on the third on the C block. We're just going to talk about whatever the heck we want to. But first, we're going to talk a little football. And Hunter, you were at the big game, Washington, Mount Pleasant. Panthers homecoming, looking to beat Washington for the first time since 2008. It was a close one.
Yes.
Tell us about the game.
Yes. Let's just go through it. It was a real great game, by the way. It was like one of the best games I've seen all season, I think. Actually, I've seen a lot of great games, and they've all involved, like some of my favorite games of the season all involve Washington and Mount Pleasant. But this one, Washington gets the better of the Panthers once again, 39-28, but it was a close one all the way until basically the final 6 minutes of the game. On the opening drive, Washington, like they have all season, looked to be firing all cylinders. Went 65 yards on an 11-play drive. Mount Pleasant struggled offensively, which we've seen at times, throughout the season. Defense has been pretty good. Took a while the offense to get going, but once they found out what they needed to do, it started to work. But the Panthers failed to get beyond second down or failed to get the Demons before second down. So Washington was moving the rock early on. It wasn't until they got within their own 5-yard line that they were able to force a third down. And actually, Mount Pleasant got Washington to fourth down a lot on the night on this first drive as well. But Logan McDowell does what he does, scampers into the end zone on 4th and 1 and puts Washington up 7-0. And then the Demon defense, halted the Panthers on their first drive, as I said, forced them into a 3-and-out. And then on the first offensive play on their next possession, 83 yards, McDowell connects with, can you guess who?
Mason Morgan, or Cale Williams.
Yep. Mason Morgan, 83-yard touchdown, catch and run for him there. So 14-0, just like that. On the next drive, Mount Pleasant still struggling to find. They go find kind of the semblance of the offense, and they go 3-and-out once again. Move the ball just 6 yards on their first 2 drives, and then from then on out, things changed. Washington looked to be driving once again. Converted a 3rd and 9 just for the end of the first quarter, but after a false start and a 7-yard sack, Mount Pleasant had the Demons at 4th and 22, and they had to kick the ball away. And then Mount Pleasant started to get going. Ramsey Davis and Peyton Walker really carried the way, which Peyton Walker we're used to seeing. Ramsey Davis has just come on the past couple weeks. This is the first I think I've seen him at a Mount Pleasant game I've been at him rushing the ball. But Davis runs the ball 3 straight times, covers 18 yards on those 3 rushes, and then a 10-yard rush by Walker put the Panthers inside the Demon 10. The 2 combined for 4 more rushes, and then Davis caps it off with a 1-yard touchdown run. And then you saw the momentum kind of shift back to the Panther defense. Washington was forced into a 3-and-out, and then Mount Pleasant strikes once again. This time, the Panthers go 8 plays, a 30-yard rush by Walker put him inside the Demons 5, and then Davis finds pay dirt once again, 14-14, just like that. But then Washington answers. That was kind of the story of the game until the start of the second quarter, as Washington just always had an answer. With under a minute to play, McDowell, had a huge night throwing the ball. He had Cale Williams had a 13-yard rush, and then McDowell hit Jayford Espinoza for a 49-yard touchdown with just 48 ticks on the clock. And into the half, Washington failed the extra point, and it was 20-14 at the half. But Mount Pleasant getting the ball at the start of the half took advantage. Walker continued what he started in the second quarter there. Another 9-yard touchdown run for him to give Mount Pleasant the first lead of the night after the extra points. So 21-20, they're leading. However, McDowell was just too good. Ended another Washington drive with 6 after a 4-yard screen pass to Williams. The 2-point try was no good, but Washington led 26-21. And then kind of a big turning point, I would say. I mean, in the game was the stop on this next drive. Washington forced Mount Pleasant to turn the ball over on 4th down early in the fourth quarter there, and it just felt like a turning point because Mount Pleasant had been moving the ball so good, and Washington, up until 1 or 2 drives there had been pretty much moving the ball really well, but once again, Washington marches down to the Mount Pleasant about 2-yard line. Once again, Mount Pleasant forces them into a 4th and 2, and probably the play of the game. It was, it looked like they had, McDowell in shotgun and Williams, sitting right next to him, and they ran this play. It looked like McDowell was trying to keep the keeper like earlier in the game and just kind of run it up, but I mean, Mount Pleasant just converged like a wall right in front of him. He had nowhere to go. Like he was just. I think in my tweet I said, yeah, they had him dead to rights. And he kind of rolled off his own lineman, like spun off his back, flipped the ball out to Williams while getting tackled, and Williams dove into the end zone to make it 33-21. That was probably my play of the game, because I mean that would have been a definite momentum stopper. I mean, Mount Pleasant would have been back and pushed way back, but still. That was a huge play, but Panthers continue to battle. Sorry, I'm talking so long. Just a good game. But
hey, this is the big game. This is the big one. Tied for the big game, I guess.
Exactly. But Mount Pleasant continue to battle. On their next drive, the Panthers had 3rd and 6 in the middle of the field. Probably the biggest passing play of the night for the Panthers. Zach Newton just let it fly downfield to Avon Trong for a 40-yard gain down to the Demon 28. And then once again, Ramsey Davis from 14 yards out cuts it to 33-28. However, time continued to tick. Basically, Mount Pleasant needed a stop on this next Washington drive. Once again, had the Demons on 4th down, but McDowell slings it out to Williams, converted on 4th down inside the Panther 20, and that all but ended the hopes of the comeback. And then Williams ended that drive with 6 more on a 3-yard rush to make it 39-28, which was the final there. And Mount Pleasant got a shot to put some more points on the board with about just under 2 minutes to go, but an interception ended the game. But McDowell leads the Demons on the night. Huge night for him. 313 passing yards and 4 touchdowns. He also had 66 yards on the ground. Kel Williams 62 yards and a touchdown on the ground. He also caught one. Mason Morgan 7 balls for 179 yards and a touchdown for Mount Pleasant. Peyton Walker 110 yards and 1 touchdown. Ramsey Davis 88 yards and 3 touchdowns. Avon Trong, the 1 catch for 40 yards. Defensively, Walker had 10 tackles and Davis had 6. So Washington moves to 5-1 with a win, while Mount Pleasant drops to 2-4. And hey, I mean, all around great game. If you're Washington, you got the 1 loss to Grinnell, which that one was a close one. Obviously, they were ranked. You got to be feeling pretty good if you're the Demons. And they are on the Iowa State Athletic Association's rankings. They are number 12. I looked at this morning. So obviously we go off by the Gazette. The Gazette, they're not receiving votes in that, but just to throw that out there. But Mount Pleasant, they had that game against Mount Vernon last week. Obviously, Mount Vernon, top 5 ranked team, and they've played some close ones. So they're getting better. I think they're getting better every week. Obviously, looked great this last week. Obviously, Washington 1 or 2 drives went their way, and that was the difference.
Yeah. Washington's also pretty high up in the RPI they just released, and Washington is second in the RPI in the district, but tied for the lead in the district with Mount Vernon. I believe Washington is on the road this week, going to Mount Vernon.
Assumption. They go to Assumption.
Washington's got Assumption this week. When does Washington have Mount Vernon?
I think the next week.
They have Mount Vernon. Oh yeah, they got Assumption and then Mount. Oh yeah. Mount Vernon is their next home game. My apologies. So they got on the road at Assumption. If they can win that, and Mount Vernon wins this week, it'll basically be the district championship. Correct. Yes, it'll basically be the district championship at Case Field. Well, that's even a better situation for them to have Mount Vernon come to their place. And Assumption,
well,
that hasn't been as good as other Assumption teams. So that one's a huge one this week. And then Mount Pleasant has Keokuk coming in. And Mount Pleasant, their playoff chances are not dead because they're still in the running for third in the district. And they still have everything in front of them because they got Keokuk. They've got the teams that are battling for that third with they got Keokuk, Assumption, and Fort Madison. So if they were to win that, I think they would be a very bubbly as far as I think the top two in each district in 3A go through, and then the next four by RPI and I think Mount Pleasant will be right kind of on the edge of that. But yeah, so this is a competitive 3A district. It's kind of fun that there are some close games. I almost made it to this. I was at my other games and I was driving and listening to. I was doing the thing where I flip back and forth between both radio stations, the Lost Gen Mount Pleasant radio station, just every play, just for fun. And I was gonna come watch the end from the stands if it came down to one last drive, but. Elsewhere in Class 3A, Fairfield had a really tough matchup with number 3 Williamsburg. Williamsburg, for all you Hillcrest Academy fans, is the co-op for the Ravens as well. But Williamsburg wins 54-12. Williamsburg is stacked. They are their only loss is a 2-point shootout against Xavier. They've killed Clear Creek and Manor, which is a super good team. They've ran through everyone else so far, and Fairfield just couldn't get the offense flowing early on. 20-0 after one quarter for Williamsburg, 41-0 at halftime, and then Luke Consul scored twice for Fairfield in the second half, but that was met by a couple touchdowns for the Raiders. So Williamsburg stays undefeated in the district. Really tough, on the road against the number 3 team, never fun for anybody. But despite the loss, Consul did have 125 yards and a couple touchdowns. Xander Galaxon ran for 39 yards. Ethan Bisgard had a couple catches for 27 yards. And then Luke Consul had a really big game all around. He had 9 solo tackles, 9.5 total tackles for the Trojans. Defensively, the Trojans didn't get any takeaways or anything like that. Williamsburg's a tough team now. That sets up Fairfield to host South Tama. Mr. Hunter Muller will be there live, boots on the ground, next week as the Trojans return home. This week. Yeah, that's right. This is coming out on Thursday anyway. So tomorrow night, my brain just goes back to as if we're talking on Friday. Right. But Fairfield just continues to be the victim of the schedule. I mean, they battled with Benton, and then Benton just beat a ranked team this week.
Number one.
They still have 2 more ranked teams to go. So big opportunity for Fairfield just snap back into their groove against South Tama this week. We'll see, see if they can get that run game flowing. And then the games I was at, I did a little double duty, Hunter.
Yeah, you saw some interesting ones early on.
Yeah, I did actually. I saw. So I took the 8-man route this week. It was a big weekend in 8-player football for our teams. Waco and New London were renewing their Henry County rivalry, and Winfield Mount Union was playing against Iowa Valley. Iowa Valley came in undefeated and looking to wrap up the district alone, basically. WMU and Waco still had a chance. If Waco and WMU both won, there would be a 3-way tie at the top of the district. If Waco got upset and Winfield Union won, Winfield Union would have been leading because of the tiebreaker. But we'll start with Waco New London. This is just an offensive clash. It kind of reminded me of what you were telling me about at the beginning of the Waco WMU game, where it was just score. 67-42, Waco wins. Warrior offense just basically couldn't be stopped. Loudon Hazengay went for 202 yards and 3 touchdowns. Clayton Miller went for 179 and 2 in the air, and he also ran for a score, had 55 yards on the ground. Trey Edeker scored a couple of touchdowns. Basically, it was just everyone getting into the end zone for the Waco offense. New London did an okay job of stopping the run, but Waco is just so good at even if you get them in the rare third down situation, they just have so many things that they can do well. Right. That's kind of been Waco's thing. They're always balanced enough to where they're never one-dimensional. No matter how good, or they're never really bad, but no matter how good or average Waco is, that they'll be able to do both, and that's kind of what they did. Now, New London showed off their offense. I mean, I was really impressed. New London moves around guys a lot, where different guys will take the snap, different guys will be in the backfield, different guys will be split out, just to kind of confuse the defense. And Waco's got a pretty good defense, but Gavin Minky-Bailey threw for 219 yards and a couple scores, ran for over 100 yards too. London Franklin, he ran for 2 touchdowns. He threw a touchdown pass to his brother Logan, and he caught 2 touchdown passes, 152 yards receiving. So he did he's like the main guy, where sometimes he's playing quarterback, sometimes they're running the ball, sometimes they're throwing it to him. Carter Adams got a defensive touchdown on a fumble recovery that helped cut it. There were just a couple times where the Waco defense clutched up a couple times at the end of the first half, where it was in the red zone or whatever, and they were able to make a stop. So, but New London showed why they, even though New London hasn't been in the upper echelon of that district with WMU, Waco, and Iowa Valley, they showed that they're the next team down, and I think they're going to have a pretty successful end of the year here with the couple games they have coming up. And then I traveled over to WMU for the second half of the Iowa Valley game, and I was actually double dutying both these, where I'd pull it up on Huddle. I pull up the other game I wasn't at, that way I kind of keep an eye on both. And WMU scored back and forth with Iowa Valley early. And in fact, when I peeked in before I left, they were down just a couple scores with the ball in the red zone. But anytime that WMU didn't score on their drive, Iowa Valley just hit right back immediately. And it ended up being 72-30 Iowa Valley, because the floodgates opened a little bit in the second half. It was it was Nolan Kriegel's show for Iowa Valley, where it just they get into a run where it's just like run right, run left, and he just barrels through people, and he's just pretty darn tough to stop. Crazy that he's only a sophomore. Lane Genkinger went for 122 on the ground, 86 through the air. Jake Edwards went for he had 3 total touchdowns. Max Edwards had 83 receiving yards and a pick 6. And then Cooper Buffington, the only time I saw Nolan Kriegel get stopped in his tracks, the 2 games I've watched him play, Cooper Buffington blasted him in right as he hit the hole and picked up a fumble in the second half. So WMU falls in that one. Playoff-wise, an 8-player, Waco is pretty much in. WMU needs to win out. WMU should be, they don't even need to win out. They need to win their game in 2 weeks because they have a non-district game coming up here. But they'll be favored from here on out. So they'll be favored to go into the playoffs. And we'll throw it to you, Hunter, for whatever's next on this list here. Pekin and Highland.
Pekin and Highland. Let's pull it up here. Oh, I accidentally exited out of it. Hold on. Oh, wait, no, I didn't. No, I take that back.
Oop.
I was on the wrong. I forgot that I didn't pull it up actually on Naviga. I pulled it up online.
All right. So the fourth wall of Naviga is the website where we actually type these stories.
Yep. Pekin and Highland. Pekin obviously, suffering that first loss last week. Wait, was that last week or was that 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, it was last week. Yeah, it feels weird because I was there 2 weeks ago, so then I think, no, that was a long time ago. It's like, no, I saw them win 2 weeks ago. But last week was in Lisbon.
Obviously, Pekin coming off that loss to, top 5 ranked Lisbon last week. But Pekin gets it done this week, 61-13 over Highland. The Panthers led 20-0 after the 1 quarter, 40-0 a half, and then 61-0 after 3. So Highland got those 13 points all in the fourth. Nolan Glick ran for 102 yards, 3 touchdowns. Will Adam, 152 yards passing and a touchdown, and rushed for 84 and a score. Riley Smith and Landon Crow both found the end zone on the ground, and Smith had a pick 6. Highland's Garrett Beeson and Caleb Wheeler each scored in the loss as well. So another big win for Highland. Obviously, rest of the way, I mean, the rest of the games are in their favor pretty much. That Lisbon game was kind of what we described as the decider for the district, considering the rest of the teams looking at the rest of the teams, and then those two were kind of undoubtedly the top dogs, but Pekin's pretty much geared for the postseason. So
they are. Pekin will be that's the team that's at this point they're just ramping up right now, and they're going to be one of the toughest 2 seeds around when the postseason comes. They'll be in some exciting ones. Columbus, by the way, speaking of playoffs, Columbus still playing for their playoff chances here. 54-0 doesn't hurt. 54-0 Columbus over Eliza Muscatine. Trevor Phillips 177-2, and Riley Kalberg scored thrice on the ground. So Columbus all over L&M. And I saw a couple names that were on the injury report 2 weeks ago, and I saw them live. Seems like Columbus is getting a little healthier.
Yeah, good for them too.
Yeah, they'll be dangerous when they're healthy and in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm. Next up, we've got Danville, 7-6 over Van Buren County. I mean, it seems like Van Buren County's played some really tight games here the past couple of weeks.
Yeah.
But Aiden McEnity's third quarter touchdown cut was a 7-0 halftime deficit down to 1 point. But the Warriors just couldn't quite get over the hump there against the Bears. Bryce McQuinn ran for 101 yards in the loss. Camden Nussbaum and Cale Mellinger combined for 19.5 tackles. So another tough loss for the Warriors down there in Van Buren County.
Yeah, really. They just have old school, low scoring games. Nussbaum, by the way, is top 10 in tackles overall.
Really?
He had 10 of those 19.5. But that's tough. I mean, they stopped them on offense pretty much the rest of the game after that first touchdown, but just tough for Van Buren County. They couldn't pull that one off. Speaking of tough, I'll tell you what, the Cardinal Comets have not won a game. They were up 26-24 in Eddyville, Blakesburg, Fremont. I saw that while I was live that they had taken the lead, and then just in fact they took the lead on an 85-yard rushing touchdown. And then Eddyville, Blakesburg, Fremont just went crazy and piled on some touchdowns late. Eddyville, Blakesburg, Fremont wins 54-26. Elijah Frazee went for 285 yards and a touchdown. Chase Johnson ran he caught a few passes for 137 yards and a couple scores. Trayton Heffel went for 118 yards receiving. So Cardinal was able to throw the ball a lot, but the defense couldn't stop. Eddyville's been kind of a wacky team. We've seen them put up some points here and there, but tough one for Cardinal. That they were in position where they might have got that first win. Yeah.
Next up, we got number 8 Sigourney-Keota, 42-21 over Pella Christian. Obviously, Sigourney-Keota are our only team that's in the rankings currently. I think they might be they're still number 8, or they're up to number 7.
Oh, I'll check it. I better check that out. I need to post that on the website, and I'll see if they. I know that I popped them up when I was voting because a team ahead of them lost. So
them, and I mean they're in the top 10, and then I know Mid Prairie, who you will talk about next, got 1 vote. I was like, I wonder if that's Andy, but the Cobras doubled up on the Eagles to stay unbeaten in district play last Friday. Obviously, looking ahead, they're just one step closer to the playoffs. Isaac Bruns continues to just dominate on the ground. He ran for 232 yards and 3 touchdowns. Brady Clark and Jacob Leib each scored on the ground as well. Sigourney-Keota, obviously, a lone loss to PCM, who's ranked number 2 in the state in Class 1A there. So Class A. No, they're 1A. They're 1A.
Yeah, they're 1A. PCM is. That's. I'll run through Mid Prairie, and I'll say something about these two. Mid Prairie went at Mediapolis. This is a tough one. In fact, it was a tough one for them last year. They scored the first 24 and a 24-8 win, and Mediapolis is 3-0 in the district. Hudson Ehrenfeld went for 141 and 3 scores. Ace Peck caught a touchdown pass from Brady Weber. So all the big names were doing their thing, and Mid Prairie, we talk about their district being pretty balanced, but there's only a couple games left, and Mid Prairie right now has the lead. They could be district champions. We could see a reality here where we have the way it's set up right now. Sigourney, Keota, and Mid Prairie are favored to win their districts. They would be 1 seeds in the playoffs. Pekin and Waco both slated for 2 seeds in the playoffs. WMU slated for 3. I believe Columbus is slated for 3. So we're kind of in the realm of, on the small schools, of getting those teams in the playoffs. Obviously, Washington's second in that district. So there are, I think, over half of our teams might wind up in the playoffs.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy to think about.
It is. That's not always the case, but we have a lot of dogs in the fight this time around.
Yeah, and I think the big thing about this year is, the past couple of years it's kind of been basically been 2 8-player teams, and then I guess that's not true because Sigourney Keota has been there pretty much every year, but
yeah, like
the past couple of years we've had like one team that we undoubtedly is like, okay, like they're going to be a state team. This year it's like more teams that are potentially make it farther and could potentially get to that quarterfinal matchup and beyond. And then like no one this year for us is like
top 4 like they have been.
But we've got more teams that are competing to get to the quarterfinal round, and then potentially obviously it's going to be a really tough game when you get to that quarterfinal game, but got a couple teams that could, make some noise when the postseason comes, for sure.
I think you and I are going to be on the road, and we're gonna get to that. It'll be the one right before state cross country too, and we'll be going off to the depths of the world trying to find our teams. If we have so many 2 seeds, they end up playing 1 seeds in the whatever that be, quarterfinal or whatever. But we're gonna be busy, but that's all right. I like being busy during playoff football season.
Playoff football, man, nothing better.
Nothing better. You know what? Just a general football. Nothing better than football. I tell my wife every day until she still hasn't left me yet. But I just wake up smiling. She's like, "Why are you smiling?" I'm like, "Because it's football season." We're gonna be back, and we're gonna talk about volleyball. In fact, we're gonna talk some pretty big time volleyball. SEC tournament started last night, so stick with us. We'll be back.
At the Capper Auto Group, we put our customers' needs first and understand that everyone is as different as the vehicle they select. We offer new Ford, Chevrolet, Buick, GMC, Jeep, Chrysler, Dodge, and Ram vehicles in a friendly environment that puts you in the driver's seat. When it comes to service, we maintain factory-trained technicians and competitive pricing. The Capper Auto Group still believes that service after the sale provides the best customer experience. Come see the Capper experience for yourself.
Federation Bank is a locally owned bank providing award-winning customer service. We believe that we are more than just a federation of banks, but a federation of communities, serving Brighton, Richland, Wellman, and Washington, Iowa. Federation Bank's highly skilled staff is here to make sure you are able to accomplish your personal and professional goals, whatever they may be. Federation Bank, your family bank.
Introducing Hy-Vee Market Grill, where every meal is a delight. Start your day with our mouth-watering breakfast options and savor flavorful lunches with friends and family. Cap off your day with our delectable dinners. Hy-Vee Market Grill, where every moment is delicious.
Washington County Hospital and Clinics, providing quality health care that puts you first. Whether during a hospital stay, seeing a primary care provider for wellness exams or sick visits, minor surgery to a total joint replacement, or recovering from an injury, we're here when you need us.
More than you expect for your health care. Washington County Hospital and Clinics.
Hello, friends, family, listeners, watchers, everyone. You're watching Prep Sports Plus, and if you are watching Prep Sports Plus, whether it be live or on replay, I'm going to need you to find the share button, click it, and then how many social media sites are you on these days, Hunter?
Me personally?
Yeah.
Oh, 4.
You got Facebook. You got Twitter. You got Instagram.
Yep.
So if you're on Facebook, share it to your Facebook. If you're on X/Twitter, share it to that. We're already on Facebook. Instagram, Snapchat. I don't know how you share ours on Snapchat, but do it. And what other social media things are there these days? I'm kind of old now. I pretty much only know those.
That's all I know. I'm old too. Dude,
but you know what? I mean, if any of the kids are watching, you guys know that you have like 10 other ones that we don't know about. So just go ahead and share them all on that.
TikTok.
Click around.
Yeah.
TikTok. Yep. I'm not on TikTok. Don't even understand how to use it. But that's pretty big. Share us on TikTok, even if it's just clips. Oh, we should talk to, we'll do a couple. We'll if Peter's done any clips of this show, you could copy it and paste it to your TikTok, because I'm pretty sure. I don't know that you can do that. I have no idea how to use TikTok. Anyway, we're going to talk a little volleyball, friends. I was in the Gate City last night. The Gate City, Keokuk, Iowa. And you know who else was in the Gate City, Hunter? Everyone that cares about Southeast Conference volleyball, because it was the first round of the historic 2-day Southeast Conference volleyball tournament, which is the big cheese in the Southeast Conference. The winner of the tournament is the conference champion. And the Washington Demons went 3-0 last night at the conference tournament. A huge run for the Demons, who are one of the two kind of co-favorites coming in, I'd say. They're the 2 seed. Not that it's all round robin, so it's, the seeding is whatever. But let me tell you about the night that Washington had. The Demons face Mount Pleasant in the first round last night. These are best of 3 to 25, and then 15 in the tiebreaker. Only one went to tiebreaker. We'll tell you about that in a bit. Washington beats Mount Pleasant 25-13, 25-16. And then in the second round, Washington beats Fort Madison. Hunter, this was a shocking one, because Fort Madison almost took the first set. But 25-23 Washington in the first set, 25-8 dominant in the second set for the Demons. While all that was going on, the Fairfield Trojans were rolling through a couple of their games. They won in 2 sets over the 2 Lee County teams, 25-22 and 25-18 over Fort Madison, and 25-18, 25-20 over Keokuk. And what that set up for was a matchup between 2-0 Union area teams, Washington and Fairfield, a rematch of the 2023 Southeast Conference Championship. And this one was a playoff atmosphere-esque volleyball game. Obviously, a lot on the line at this point, because you're both 2-0. You know whoever wins this is got going to be in the catbird seat going into next Tuesday in Burlington. Fairfield starts leading the first game. Washington rallies a huge serve streak by Leighton Messenger at the end of the game. I think it was 19-17, Fairfield, or maybe 19-18. And Leighton stepped up and served out the rest of the game for a 25-19 first set. Now, in this set, Fairfield suffered a really tough injury, because Claire Thompson was dominating at the net, honestly. She had some huge blocks, and Fairfield was up, I think, 4 or 5 points. She goes down with a lower leg injury. So they're shorthanded. They're already shorthanded because Amelia Miller was out as well. Mount Pleasant was shorthanded because Maya Starr was out. So it was a tournament that was marred by a few injuries. But Washington comes back. They beat Fairfield in the first set 25-19. Second set is just an all-out brawl going back and forth. and Fairfield sneaks past Washington 25-23 in the second set, which sets up the winner-take-all third set. And Washington jumped out to an 8-2 lead. Fairfield cut all the way back to 4 points, I think, maybe 3 points. And the Demons on a kill by Ella Greiner at the very end take the third game, go 3-0, and Washington, who has not won the Southeast Conference Championship, is now 2 games away. They've got Keokuk and Burlington next week. Burlington also went 3-0, so the assumption is, if both teams can get to that game 4-0, that's the last game, so that would be the championship. Now Burlington has to play Fairfield and Washington, so Burlington does not have the easiest schedule. And as I said, Washington's got Keokuk. Keokuk went 0-2. Fort Mahaston went 0-2. And Mount Pleasant went 0-2. Mount Pleasant actually played those 2 undefeated teams. They played Burlington first. They played Washington first. We saw what happened there. And then they played Burlington, and 25-12 Burlington in the first set. So Greyhounds were looking good. And then Mount Pleasant gave them a nice little a little comeback for the Panthers in the second set. Ended up falling in that one 25-22. But they made Burlington. That was close. And then Burlington had another close second set with Keokuk earlier in the night. So they both had a couple times where it looked like it might go to the third set, but the only third set was the Washington Fairfield game. So Mount Pleasant, Keokuk, Fort Madison all tied in fourth. Nobody is mathematically dead for the championship, but obviously Washington and Burlington have a huge edge up, and then Fairfield would need to beat Burlington and have Burlington beat Washington. Now, if it ends up a 3-way tie, Hunter, let's say Fairfield beats Burlington and Burlington beats Washington, then it goes to how many sets you played, which the advantage right now would go to Fairfield because they lost in a 3-set match. So it all depends. A bunch of math. But the bottom line is, if you're a Washington volleyball fan, you got 2 games to go. You got 4 sets you got to win, and you are the Southeast Conference champions. So, and I believe Hunter is slated to be there, boots on the ground in Burlington, Iowa for possibly the big SEC championship. Well, it's going to be the SEC championship game one way or the other. You just don't know if it's going to be the last one.
Exactly. It's going to be a good one. Like you said, we've had past couple of years, we've had teams that weren't the number 1 seeds come in and kind of shock the world, if you will. Not really shock the world, but
they shocked the world.
But they, they've came and they played some of their best volleyball when it mattered most. So I mean, we'll see what happens come next week.
I need to go back and look to see how many times the number 1 seed has actually won, because I know that there have been times. I know that Mount Pleasant won it as like a 3 or 4, and then the next year I think they were technically the 1 seed and won it. And I know that Fairfield was the 2 seed when they won it a couple years ago, and then last year was Fairfield the 1 or 2 coming into that against Washington. I know they were the top 2, but it's never like one team just dominates. It's always, especially since it's a 3-set tournament, it always comes down to something. So who knows? I think there's, it's a coin flip and a half, because a coin flip between Burlington and Washington right now, and Fairfield definitely is still very, very alive. But like Mount Pleasant would need a lot of stuff to go their way, even if they went 3-0. So, but we'll see there. And then you were at a little Super Conference North action last night. Yeah.
All around fantastic game last night. Highland does win it 3-0, but check out these final scores. 25-22 Highland, and then 28-26 Highland, and then 26-24 Highland. So this, in every single set, one team jumped out to a big lead, and the other team always battled back in the final. And basically the final couple points of the match. Just running through it real quick here. We, in the first set, we have Highland leading 16-12 early on. Well, that's not really early on, but in the middle stages, late halfway, late point in the match, Winfield comes back to tie it at tied it at 19-19, and then Highland, they keep it basically within 1. All the way to 21-22, or 21-20. I can't speak. and then Highland gets it back, keeps it at 1 at 23-22 until the Huskies finish it off with an error by the Wolves, and we're able to get that final point there. So valiant effort by the Wolves in set 1-2. Same can be said, or in set 1. I just messed up so many times right there, but in set 2, in set two, Highland once again big lead early on, 9-2. They led 10-4, 11-5, 13-6. Looking like they're just gonna pull away with it. 18-11. But WMU answers the call once again. Comes all the way back to tie it at 22-22. First time it had been even since 1-1. But once again, Highland does just enough to get it out. They tied at 24-24, 25-25, 26-26, and then a kill by Adeline Croats and an ace from Katie Herrig ends it to give Highland that second set victory. In the third set, Winfield Mount Union early on. It was like, oh no, we're going to a fourth set. Are they going to come back on this? Winfield Mount Union jumps out to a 9-3 advantage, 10-3 advantage, check that, and led 14-8, and then Highland just slowly chipped away. This time, they had it. Winfield Mount Union hit at 22-17, 23-18. And then all of a sudden, Highland comes back off the serves of Katie Herrig in that late in that set. When she started serving at 23-18, from that point on, it became 24-23. Highland leading by the end. By the time she stopped serving, off another kill from Adeline Croats there to give the Huskies the lead. Winfield Mount Union does answer back to tie it at 24-24. But the Huskies, once again, final 2 points on a block, and then on a miss hit by the Wolves and make it 26-24. So, it was a great. I mean, if you like volleyball, that was a great match to watch because each team just Winfield Mount Union had to battle back in the first 2 sets, and then watch Highland battle back literally basically on their last breath in that third set there. So, Highland with the sweep and. Winfield Mount Union's been playing some good ball. Highland obviously made it, to the final in the Southeast Iowa Super Conference tournament. And Winfield Mount Union's, pretty young. They have 2 seniors, I think. That's it.
Schlee is a senior,
and Josie Nelson.
Josie Nelson's senior. You have 2. You have it right.
Yeah, and Highland's kind of the same way. With I guess they have 4. I think here I'm reading off, or 5. So I guess they're a little older, but 2 pretty good teams going at it here.
Yeah, 2 teams that had a shot here in the North standings, and the team that kind of taken over the North, Wapello, actually played at Hillcrest last night, and Hillcrest did give Wapello a tough game. In fact, they took a set from them. Wapello took the first one 25-19. Hillcrest takes the second one 25-21. Wapello takes a really big swing set 25-23, and then takes the fourth 24-19. If Hillcrest would have been able to knock off Wapello, there would have been a 3-way tie at the top between the Arrows, the Huskies, and the Ravens. Instead, right now, it's Wapello still undefeated. Highland has only got about 1 loss, and then Hillcrest and Columbus both have 2. Winfield now has 3. By the way, Waco also beat Lone Tree last night, so they're right below that. But Wapello now just has Lone Tree and Louisa Muscatine to go, and Louisa Muscatine and Lone Tree are both in the lower half of the North standings. So Wapello Wapello's now got the tiebreaker over everyone. So
it's kind of crazy how competitive the North is this year in volleyball.
It is. Yeah, you know what? And Wapello's 2A, but a lot of these teams are 1A. Highland, Hillcrest, Winfield Mount Union, Waco, all Pekin, all 1A. So we'll see. Checking here to see if they're playing each other in the regional tournament coming up, because the brackets were scheduled to come out last week. And let's see who's matched up with who. Oh, wait, they're not out yet, 8 days later. So we have no idea. We'll find out who's playing who when we're on the road to to the sites because I don't know what the delay is, but the brackets have not come out, so we have no idea. But the last rankings, everyone, Mid Prairie still number 8. They're now number 8 in 3A. So we have Mid Prairie for our own potential gas mileage is hanging on to that number 8 seed because if you're top 8, you get to host the regional final if you win out. And I know Mr. Hunter Muller had to go to where last year to watch Mid Prairie because they had fallen to like number 12.
Center Point Urbana, which still isn't that bad.
No, it's not that
bad. That's not as bad as going to like, I don't know, Ankeny or something.
Yeah, Ankeny. Yeah, that's
although Ankeny's like 4. Ankeny, I think, is 5A but still, or however, 4A. But
yeah, I don't know what girls basketball and volleyball. We do take some big trips.
I'd probably be like, that's better going there than. Well, I don't know. It's probably about the same distance, maybe a little more than going to like Assumption. I've watched Mid Prairie at Center Point Urbana and Assumption the last 2 years, so I don't know.
Assumption feels like longer.
It feels like
when you get to Davenport, it feels like you're in an entirely different world. Honestly,
right.
I would rather go 2 hours the other way. That's it for our volleyball talk. We have. Let's see. Do we have any? We have some cross country. Why don't I throw out some cross country? You know what? No, we're gonna take a break. When I come back, we'll get you some cross country. I know the Demons were in West Delaware last night for a really tough one, and we'll run through that, and then we'll talk about something else. I don't know. Just stick with us. We don't know what's gonna happen. You don't know what's gonna happen. This is an unpredictable show. Like, share, and subscribe, and come back after these commercials.
Attention Hy-Vee shoppers, introducing Hy-Vee Perks, your ticket to exclusive savings and rewards. Access exclusive perks, prices, earn gas discounts, and unlock special deals. All this for free. Join Hy-Vee Perks today and start saving.
At Seafirst Credit Union, we're all about making connections, like how we connect you to that dream vacation with a savings account designed to help get you on the flight there. Connect with Seafirst today and see why together is better.
Family-friendly Halloween treat, visit the Midwest Haunted Rail. Unlimited rides on the Ghost Train, trolley, and carousel, blow-ups, and carnival rides, all for one low price. Kids 4 and under free. Scare up some fun at Midwest Haunted Rails, McMillan Park, Mount Pleasant.
In the heart of rural Iowa, where community matters most, the connections we make are made to last. Meet KCTC, your hometown internet, phone, and TV provider. At KCTC, we're not just about technology, we're about people. Our dedicated team are your neighbors, committed to bringing you top-tier services right where you live. We believe in giving back to the community that raised us. Experience the power of a real connection with KCTC. Join us in building a stronger, more connected Southeast Iowa.
Hello again, friends. We are on the C block of Southeast Iowa Union Prep Sports Plus. Hunter, are you ready for the C block?
I've always been ready.
Born ready. That's my 6-year-old just learned to say born ready. We had a little cross country yesterday. Washington went down. No, they didn't go down. They went up and over to West Delaware for a little action in the boys. This is a tough one here that Washington. This is this got Mount Vernon, Lisbon in it, Oline, Anamosa, Tipton, Clear Lake, Jessup. This got some big hitters here. Demon boys. What happened?
I said, man, that is some heavy hitters.
Man. Those are some heavy hitters in the sport of cross country. Demons got third on the boys' side, 136 points. That was only 5 points behind Oline. Anybody who went to Olwine, I hope I'm pronouncing Olwine right. That's how I've always pronounced it. But no one's ever called me on it or said I was correct. Tyler Alderton got 8th in the boys' race. Andrew Reese got 13th. Sawyer Chance 19th, so 3 in the top 20 for the Demon boys. And then on the girls' side, Washington got 5th overall, 139 points, 10 points behind 4th place Clear Creek Amana. I did that one on purpose wrong. That's Clear Creek Amana. My brain just decided to also pronounce that one wrong.
Hey, Andy.
Yes?
Can you pull your camera, like your computer down just a little bit? Because I'm seeing like half your face 90% of the time.
Sorry. I don't know why I was leaning forward. Here, I'll just sit like I'm supposed to. I was I don't know, I need to go get my eyes checked. I got a text from America Eye Care, shout out. And they were like, hey, you need to come get your eyes checked. They're probably watching the show. Iris Dahl got 12th. Thank you for that tip, by the way.
No
Iris
problem.
Dahl got 12th for the Demons. Quincy Griffiths got 31st. Olivia Anderson 37th. Kendall Hendrickson 38th. I wonder if I skipped over did I skip over anybody over there? Where's Lauren Horak at? She's usually a little higher up in there. Don't see her. But anyway, so that's that. Demons were over there. We're getting closer and closer to our to Southeast Conference meet, Hunter.
Yeah,
We're getting
That's gonna be a good
dangerously. That is going to be a good one. Why don't I just go ahead and click on this conference calendar right here to see how close we are, because this is October, which means it's coming. Is that next Thursday? Elks Fairview Golf Club will host the Southeast Conference meet. Keokuk, Iowa, at the historic Elks Fairway Golf Club. We'll see who can win that. There are going to be some good battles in that. I don't know who's going to win conference this year individually. And then Fort Madison, Washington will probably be battling it out for the team titles. And I haven't checked our Thursday schedule, but that would mean that the Southeast Iowa Super Conference meet should be, come on, Andy, come on, internet. It's I thought it was tomorrow, but I thought it was today if you're watching this. No, it's not. It's next week. Anyway, just forget what I just said, everybody. Cut that. Now keep it in. Hunter, anything on your mind before we leave?
Nope.
Hunter.
Hey, from just that. I think last week started, 60 some days straight of football every day.
Yes, I saw that. There's no
day till November something.
And we get extras because that's not even counting the high school games that we're watching.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm going into. We get extra on Fridays.
You know what I hope happens? Honestly, Hunter? I hope that Iowa sanctions girls flag football. I'd want more football.
That'd be awesome.
We both watched some Powder Puff this year, and that'd be good. I need some more football in my life. It's the only negative about football is you only get one game a week.
That is true.
Shout out to some of Caitlin Clark's haters. Got knocked out of the playoffs yesterday. I think the Sun are out.
Aces are out.
Peace. We love Kate Martin, but every other ace. Peace. And New York Liberty and
the Lynx are still in, right? Minnesota.
Minnesota Lynx ball still in. New York Liberty ball still in. And
I think the Liberty win it all. I think the Liberty win it all.
Yeah, I don't know. Do we like anybody? We don't really like anybody except the Fever.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't even know why I brought that up. I'm just sad. Any other shout outs? Do you want to shout out Maddie Jones for saving you for Maddie Jones of Fairfield / Southeast College? You're telling that story that you almost got rejected from the Super Conference Finals last week?
Yep. Watching Southeast Iowa Super Conference Finals at Southeastern Community College, and the only proof that I had that I was media besides my backpack and my camera was that I could have pulled up one of my stories with my name on it. And Maddie Jones vouched for me that I was actually a reporter. and saved me from the hassle.
Saved this paper is what she did. So shout out. I've had that couple. By the way, it's always funny to me that we get in free to events, even though we're making money by being at the events.
Yeah,
isn't that weird to you? Like everybody else, nobody else is making money, but we get in free, so we can then make money off of that product. I had a couple times where people were just like, "You're not with the media," and when they do that, honestly, that's always just like road games. Like it's never our school.
Yeah.
And like it happened in Keokuk one time, I remember, and I just fold, and I'm like, "Whatever, here's $5. It's not worth it. Let's just move on."
No, I'd be like, I honestly, I'd probably be like, I'm not paying. You want your school covered?
The ground. I would find out like it would be like a viral Twitter fight.
You have cards, don't you? Don't you have cards? Don't you just carry a card?
Yeah, I do have cards. But I mean, some people.
I have them in my bag, but I always forget about them.
Some people are like, I mean, that's not all. That's not like an all known. It's just like random teachers or kids sometimes are like taking tickets, and I'll be like, yeah, I'm with one of the newspapers. I'm covering this event, and they'll be like, okay, $5. And that's when they alpha me into being like, oh, here you go.
Yeah, that's where it gets awkward because you're like, wait, I get in for free. Like you don't want to be like that guy.
There is one school I have beef with. I'll real quick.
Oh, I already know this one.
Do you remember which one it is?
Yep. Say
it.
Wait, I got to remember. I think it's Solon, isn't it?
Oh, no, I do have beef with Solon, too, but that's for a different reason. Maquoketa Valley. I emailed in when New London was playing in the sub-state basketball final a few years ago, and I emailed in to talk to the AD. I'm like, hey, just so you know, like we're coming to cover this, blah, blah, blah. And then, but that was during COVID stuff, so it was like, so I got there, and they're like, where's your online ticket thing? I was like, oh, hey, I'm with the newspaper. They're like, okay, where's your online ticket? I'm like, oh, no, I actually, I was like, I showed them the email with the athletic director, and they're like, I don't think this is really enough for you to get in. And I was like, all right, fine, I'll pay. And they're like, well, you have to go online and get a ticket. And I was like, oh, just come on. And I don't remember how I got in.
Why weren't you like media gets in for free? Like I'm covering this event.
I feel they just didn't know. If people don't know that, I feel like that's almost like too entitled to be like, well, I don't have to pay to get in here. But they knew that. They were just, I don't know. They just were not having it. There was also a line of parents that they had made wait for other reasons. So they were just being, and it wasn't even like Maquoketa Valley was in that game. That they were the host of the site.
You should have just. Sometimes if the line's so long, I just walk on by.
Yeah, me too. I did that at Waco, so shout out Waco for not getting me in trouble for walking by the long line this week.
That's all. Do you carry your camera like in like out? I always have your camera out. That's the trick.
Yeah, I always have it out. At the TV station, they always told me do not. Like, I used to work for KHQA. They told me do not wait in the line at all. I like to be in the line so I can be like, hey, I'm here for the newspaper. Usually I know the ticket people, or recognize them from all our schools. So I like to just chat it up. And that Maquoketa Valley, that was the situation that was the worst.
Granted, you do have a younger look about you, so maybe they probably think you're just a student trying to get in.
Sneaking in. Well, and then, they think I'm a high schooler sneaking in. Whatever, that's fine. Cool, I got this manly mustache, so they know I'm not nice. All right, we're out of here.
Yep, that's it.
When will we see him, Hunter?
We'll see you next week.
Prep Sports Plus.
Peace.